Welcome to the second webinar of a series of 3 on optimizing sales performance with ad hoc analytics. On our first webinar, the Ultimate Store Analysis, we have introduced you to Prangles. Prangles is a CPG company which has undertaken a journey into the analytics. Our first workshop was set a year ago when Prangles and Informatics have just begun working together on introducing analytics into the organization. The Ultimate Store Analysis was a prototype that used retailer and store data to get actionable insights. Since then, the Ultimate Store solution based on this prototype has been rolled out to many countries. Over the last year, Prangles decision makers were still facing the challenges that are well known to most CPG companies. The quickly changing and diverse data, the dynamic and highly competitive environment that leads to the need to quickly take the right decisions, and the lack of actionable insights that are available at a glance. But this has changed with the creation of solutions that enable decision making. Today, Prangles is an organization which has successfully raised analytical awareness and built analytical culture. This has allowed to discover new insights out of the variety of data available to Prangles. The changes that Prangles has gone through over the last year were enabled by Informatics. We are proud to be one of the biggest Spotfire partners and provide services on these areas globally, successfully delivering about 200 BI projects per year. We are a dynamically growing business intelligence and mobile service provider. Founded in 2002 with headquarters in Europe, now we have offices in 5 different countries, including United Kingdom and the United States. Informatics has now 220 employees, with over 130 specializing in Spotfire. We are known for our innovative and agile approach to BI. This approach enables not only us, but more importantly, our customers to drive measure ROI through the solutions we are deploying. Let it be a single dashboard, a prototype, or a full, complete collaborative BI solution. Together with TIBCO, we have been working on an impressive portfolio of CPG projects, a high overview of which you can see on the screen. But let us take a moment to analyze the change in the analytical maturity level of Prangles. A year ago, when Informatics has just started to work with Prangles, the company was on the second stage of the analytical maturity. Prangles has already begun working with the basic tools that allow for analyzing of data, like for example Excel. But it was clear that in such way, the analytics can neither be done in time nor deliver any actionable insights. The first prototypes and solutions that have been delivered with Informatics allowed Prangles to move into the third stage, which was to become a late adopter and a basic user of analytics. Over the last year, Informatics has intensively worked with Prangles to build the analytical awareness and to establish an environment which would enable analytics in the daily work. As we'll see during today's demo, the effects are truly game-changing. We hope that as an outcome of this effort, Prangles will be able to further advance and within the next quarters to reach the highest levels of analytical maturity, to become an analytical innovator, which will in turn enable to become a market leader. But many of you might be asking yourself a question now. How was it possible for Prangles to move to a higher level of analytical maturity in such a short time frame? Building up analytical culture is a real challenge for any organization. Some of the challenges that you could be facing are how to organically grow expertise, which takes a lot of time and a lot of effort, how to train users on BI tools, how to establish standards, and how to create best practices, and how to break through the barriers and the resistance of some parts of the organization, like, for example, your local IT departments. As a business intelligence consultant at Informatics, I have always experienced these challenges when working with our clients. We tackled those challenges in several ways. Through interactive workshops, we generated new ideas. By creating prototypes, we saved time and money by testing these ideas in a production environment. By running custom trainings, we helped to enhance the analytical, the business, and the IT skills of Spotfire users, enabling them to design the best-in-class solutions. And our consultants in the Analytical Excellence team help to optimize the templates, to improve the performance, to turn the visualizations into best-in-class visualizations, and to bring the game-changing ideas into life. Our analytical excellence team has major success stories all over the world. We pass on the analytical knowledge to your organization that allows you to empower your users to turn the data into real business opportunities, and to most of all, make the business users brave, to dare to change the analytical culture, to use new metrics, to build new templates, to do more of benchmarking, and to introduce new KPIs. Now, going back to our business case and the solution which we will explore today. Prangles is one of the key players at the chips market, competing with 4 other major companies. We have been purchasing Nielsen data for over a year now. Today, with the analytical culture being well established at Prangles, the analysts are leveraging their skills to explore the data and discover new insights. The solution has started from exploration of data done by one of the Prangles analysts, which led to discovery of business insights and formulation of business questions. And the solution was built within 80 hours as a prototype with help of informatics consultants. The solution evolves around the KPIs that can quickly provide actionable insights and executive summaries to the Prangles decision makers. There are hundreds of different KPIs that are known out in the market and are ready to be reused. For example, ROI, out of stock, or price elasticity. But these are very generic KPIs that might not always be catered toward your specific industry or market. Remembering the introduction into the levels of analytical maturity, in order to become an innovator and a leader, it is critical to be able to identify your own set of KPIs that will enable creation of game-changing solutions. We'll demonstrate today an example of creation of a new KPI and how it can affect your perception of the market. So let me invite you now to the executive summary of our solution. A good prototype must always have a landing page which provides an executive summary and invites to further explore the data. We have designed this landing page to highlight 3 key points. First, the difference that Spotfire brings to BI is tremendous. Using simple tools that can analyze the data, like for example Microsoft Excel, we can transform the data and present it in the forms of simple numbers and tables. When we look at the cross table, we are able to identify the trends and the market leaders, but this requires a lot of time and a lot of effort. When we look at the visualizations using Spotfire, we can present the data that delivers insights at the first glance. By leveraging these visualizations to present the trends, we can highlight key issues or opportunities to the management and draw the attention. Presenting the KPIs at the landing page proves to further strengthen the invitation for exploration of the data, and at the same time provides a summary of the key figures. The 3 modules that we'll present today are set to tackle 3 key challenges: the discovery of the insights from the data and formulation of the business questions, the KPIs, and the actionable insights that can come out of a prototype. When we freely explore the data, we might already have areas that are of key interest to us, or we might just want to discover some hidden insights. In the presented case, we were interested to understand the pricing structure of the market. On the left-hand side of the screen, we have 2 visualizations. On the top, we have value sales, and on the bottom, we have the product count per pricing segment. Using Spotfire, we can dynamically segment our pricing range on this market, ranging from 50 cents to $3.50, into X equal pricing segments. Currently, we are segmenting into 6, but we can segment into 10 or 50 or any given number. So let's use 6 pricing segments, each ranging for 50 cents, to analyze the pricing structure of the market. We can identify at a glance the parts of the market where the value generation is the highest. In this case, it would be a range from $1 to $1.50. And we can identify the parts of the market, the pricing segments, when the value generation is the lowest. Through this, we can identify where the biggest opportunities could be. If we analyze the product count per pricing segment, we can see where the competition is the heaviest because the count of different products is the highest. And this is pretty much from the range of 50 cents to $2.50, with only the most expensive segments having much lower product count. From this, and with the power of Spotfire, we can deep dive and color our data through companies to see what would be the different share of different companies. We'll apply color coding through company, and we'll want to apply our standard coloring scheme that we have applied for the chips market. Now we are able to identify Pringles, which has color orange, per different pricing segment. We can see that Pringles has pretty much constant share of the products, about 30% through all of the different pricing segments. Now, how this strategy of diversification of focus equally through all the pricing segments results in generation of the value sales? We can see that in the first pricing segment, with 29% of the share of the products, we generate only 19% of the share of the value sales, which is rather low. If we compare it with the third pricing segment, where we have a very similar share of the products, 31%, we are able to capture 41% of the value sales within this part of the market, which is rather a very good result. We are performing over the average here. This allows to formulate following business questions. What are the reasons for poor performance of our products in the first pricing segment? What are the reasons for the good performance of our products in the third pricing segment? Which lessons could we re-implement from those pricing insights, and which lessons we could re-implement into the other pricing segments in order to improve our overall performance? Additionally, we could ask ourselves, is our strategy of spreading our focus equally through all of the pricing segments the right strategy? Because we can identify that also in one of the most expensive pricing segments leads to generation of a lower part of the value sales. Now, such questions can lead to discovery of new business insights, and with further development of the solution, we can provide answers that can be turned into actionable insights. Now we can discover such questions using the visualizations, or we can answer the questions using, for example, KPIs. On the right-hand side of the screen, we have the two key measures that we have used, the product count and the value sales. And we added additional KPI, which is an average product performance, calculated as value sales divided by the product count. We can see the entire market and identify at a glance using the color coding the areas where the competition and the product count is the highest and where the count is the lowest. We can identify where the value sales are the highest or the lowest, and we can see in which parts of the market the performance, the average performance of all products is the highest or the lowest. Now we can benchmark either ourselves or our competitors against the market, and we can identify where are we doing better than average, this would be the third pricing segment, or where we are doing much worse than our competition or the average of the market. In the second pricing segment, we are going to deep dive in the product portfolio mix. The purpose of the product portfolio mix is to understand the structure of the market in the terms of the units sold. We also want to benchmark our portfolio structure with key competitors and discover new hidden insights and opportunities. By changing the dimensions of the analysis, we'll be able to drill down through different hierarchy levels: the company, the category, brand, or dimensions of products, like for example, flavor or size of the package. On the top of the screen, we have an overview of the entire market, currently at the level of the company. And on the bottom of the screen, we'll have a drill down for the selected companies. We can see that Pringles is a market leader currently, slightly above the snack company. While chips and biscuits is having the lowest market share, it is still a sort of new entrant into the market, and we would like to better understand the strategy of chips and biscuits and the areas of focus. So during this analysis, we'll benchmark Pringles with chips and biscuits. Switching dimension to the category, we can identify which units are generating the most sales for the different companies. We can see on the bottom of the screen that 55% of the sales of Pringles are coming from biscuits, while only 8% of the units sold for chips and biscuits are coming from the biscuits category. Biscuits is dividing its focus quite equally between chips and mini crackers, while for Pringles, surprisingly, chips are only 30% of the units sold. So this is rather a surprising insight for a company that is supposed to mainly focus on the chips. By switching through different dimensions, like for example brand, we can identify the key drivers. So the two leading brands of our competitor, chips and biscuits, are Crunch and Rush, and we can see that both of them drive the unit sales quite equally, around 50% each. While Pringles has three brands, Snacky, Tips, and Twins, with all of them being quite important, but Twins leading with about 40% of the units sold. By switching through different dimensions, we could analyze the sales from different perspectives, but if we look at the pack size, we can see that most of the sales of Pringles are coming from very small units that are of just 100 grams. This is half of the units sold. For chips and biscuits, the picture is quite diverse. So chips and biscuits is selling both small and big size of packages. But at this point, we should highlight the key discovery that we are trying to compare apples with oranges. It is not correct to attempt to analyze the unit sales and try to analyze the strategies and the key drivers of the companies when we have package sizes of such variety ranging from 100 grams to 650 grams. On the other hand, we could have also different types of packages. We could have different units. We could be selling not just packages that are expressed in grams, but also perhaps in liters. So at this point, we need to introduce a new KPI, which we'll call standard chips package, and we'll base it on the unit which is currently accounting for the most of the portfolio of the Pringles company. So we'll use 100 grams package size to standardize our portfolio. We'll add a new column. We'll call it the standard chips package. And we'll add a calculation which to each package size will add a specific weight. So we'll want to count a package size of 100 grams as one standard chips package, a package size that is of 5 times larger as 5 standard chips packages sold, and so on. Of course, we could apply different weights to our different packages in order to modify our standard chips package KPI. We have added the new measure, and now let us see how the perception of the market will differ. We'll duplicate the visualization to be able to compare at a glance, and on the top visualization, we'll change the measure to the standard chips packages. Now we can see that the picture has changed quite drastically. We can see that Pringles is actually selling most of its product, most of its standard chips packages based on the 500 gram packages. And also the picture has changed quite drastically for the chips and biscuits company. Now, taking a few steps back and analyzing once again the categories that are main drivers of the companies, we can see that now the picture is rather accurate for both companies. So most of the sales of Pringles are coming from the chips market, and most of the sales of the chips and biscuits are also coming from the chips market, 64 and 70%. So we can see that we are very close competitors, with both companies focusing mainly on the chips category. If we try to analyze the brands, we can see that now the picture is different. It's not Crunch and Rush that are both equal drivers of the business for chips and biscuits, but it is the Rush brand that is driving 70% of the standard chips packages sold. And for Pringles, the main driving brand is Tips. At this point, this gives us additional insights, as we know that we should focus on benchmarking Tips against Rush, as they are the main drivers for both of the companies. We can discover such insights from the visualizations, or we can leverage the KPIs to gain a quick overview of the key measures and combine it with the visualizations in the same place. So we can see the market KPIs, or Pringles KPIs, or KPIs for the selected companies, and we can drill down through different dimensions. So on the level of the market, we can sort all the companies by their value sales. We can identify trends. We can calculate the standard chips packages sold for each brand. We can visualize the ratio of the standard chips packages sold versus the units sold, or we can calculate the ratio and express it in numbers. In the third module, we are interested to understand how the pricing strategy changes that Pringles has applied in the recent 6 months, when the management decided to drive the prices up of all of the products by an average of 5%, had an impact on our sales. So Pringles has purchased sales data on a retailer level for the state of California, where the Pringles headquarters are located. We are focusing on analysis of the 6 key cities, and on the map we can visualize the cities by the size of their sales. So the higher marker indicates that the sales are higher. In this specific scenario, we are looking only on the sales of Pringles, and the color indicates what kind of strategy we should be taking. So a green color highlights that we should be overall driving prices up within the city for all of the retailers, and the red color indicates that we should be driving prices down. Now, if we select, for example, Bakersfield, to understand the details and the complex situation that is happening within the city, we can see the structure of the market split by the retailers. So we can see that retailers that are targeting the budget customers are accounting for most of the market, and the standard and the premium retailers are having rather a smaller share. On the top, we can see the total price impact, so how our standard chips packages sold have changed over time, and we can see the average price. So it has been increasing quite significantly over the last half year. On the bottom of the screen, we can see a drill down, the price impact per retailer type. And we can analyze how the average change, and we can see that for all of the retailers, the budget, standard, and premium, we have increased our prices by an average of about 5%, impacted our standard chips packages sold in percentage. So for budget, the sales have decreased by about 8%, which with an increased price has still had a negative impact on our value sales, and we have lost about 4% of the value. In the standard stores, we have about 6% in terms of the standard chips packages sold, and net our value sales are still negative. And even with an impact, with a positive impact in the premium retailers, where the price elasticity is lower and the standard chips packages decline was just about 3%, we have managed to increase our value sales. But overall, due to the structure of the retailer stores, with the budget stores having the majority, our sales are decreasing, and the high-level strategy for the city would be to increase the prices. Or we can deep dive into the details and using the action indicators and the KPIs, we can see what kind of strategy we should be taking if we want to set different prices per retailer type. So the action indicators inform us what kind of strategy we should be taking. A green star informs us that for a premium store in Bakersfield, we should be driving our prices up due to the price elasticity resulting in a sales uplift. We can also see on the KPIs the price index calculated, the price elasticity, and the numbers of stores impacted. A red cross informs us that we should be driving our prices down, otherwise we'll be losing value sales and we'll be losing share of the market. And the neutral sign informs us that in this specific case, we should be looking at more complex scenario. We should be looking into more details because the price changes might have a different impact. So price elasticity is not indicating clearly what kind of pricing strategy would be the best. So we need to take into account also the strategy of the competitors and more different factors. The insights coming out of this prototype were fully embraced by the management. And we are proud to announce that this solution will soon be scaled to a national level at the customer. Creating a prototype is just the first steps towards a creation of a game-changing solution. You might be able to enumerate many great initiatives, either your own or ones that you know of, that despite being innovative and having really great potential, have failed to be implemented or have failed to be scaled. This could be due to failing to tackle two key challenges: the cultural challenges and the technical challenges. The cultural challenges are related to dynamics within the organization. An analyst of Pringles who worked with informatics to create this prototype had to break with the solution through the in-department barriers and to gain the attention and the approval of Pringles managers. This was possible due to two factors. First, a clear and well-designed executive overview, which allows to get the essence of the solution at a glance. And second, the presence of the KPIs, which instantly drew the attention to the challenge and raised the curiosity to explore the solution further. After the in-department barriers have been overcome, in order to scale the solution, you have to face different challenges. For example, how to align with different departments, how to gain the approval for change from the IT department, how to scale the solution to different countries and different regions where the business needs or the data could be different. And once again, the Analytical Excellence Center is the key answer to the scaling challenges. The companies that are able to reach higher levels of analytical maturity have it much easier to open and to embrace the innovative and game-changing analytical solutions. But on the other hand, being open to new solutions is simply not enough. Based on my experience as a consultant, scaling has also technical challenges. Some of the critical questions that I'm frequently being asked by our customers are how to handle different data sources, how many users should we involve at different stages of development of the solution, how should we optimize the templates to improve the performance, how can we ensure the training quality, which parts of the process can be automated, or how should we cope with the cultural challenges. At the end, it all adds up to the time and the cost. And how can we save the time and how can we reduce the cost is a million-dollar question. To tackle this question, we have developed and fine-tuned over many years the prototyping methods, which are now embraced by all of our customers. To summarize our today's webcast, I would like to highlight 4 main points. First, reaching higher levels of analytical maturity is critical to become a market leader and an analytical innovator. Informatics Analytical Excellence Services can put you on a fast track and minimize the time and effort required. Identifying the right KPIs and creating your own KPIs that are catered towards your specific industry and business is a game-changing necessity. The scalability faces cultural and technical challenges. It takes time and it takes costs. Prototyping can help you to minimize both. Ad hoc visualization is a powerful feature of agile business intelligence that makes the reporting customizable and easy to use. We are pleased to receive and answer any questions that you might have. On the top of the screen, you can find the contact numbers to reach us directly, or you might also want to contact us via email, which is displayed on the bottom of the screen, in spotfire@informatics.net. Thank you for watching this webinar.